Man, when I heard this, I was so shocked. I was absolutely shocked. Because, like, I've played a good amount of World of Warcraft in my life. I have been a World of Warcraft defender in some ways, but I've been calling them out anytime they do something heinous or screw up their game in a particularly rough way or whatever. But I'd like to think that they're actually like, trying to iterate and trying to like make things better for their game. Because I care about the game. I played it for so very long. That, however, has been extra screwed up as of a couple of days ago. Let's start with it. The one button option that automatically casts the next spell. That's what they added. They added it. They basically changed it so you could play World of Warcraft. You could slam your forehead down on the keyboard. Unironically, you can now actually face roll your way through World of Warcraft. There is no real downside except for a point, I think 0.2 GCD penalty or 0.25. I can't tell if it's I don't remember if it's 0.2 or 0.25. 0.2. So a 20% time penalty. Disappointing? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're diving in, Wade. We're diving into it, man. This is fucking When I first read this, I was at my dad's house taking care of my dad, Wade. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I thought it was a meme because I saw some random dude talking about it on Twitter. And then I saw Icy Veins posted. I saw IGN posted. And I was like, wait, this is real? This is real? So this is where they make the announcement. I want to watch a little bit of it with you to start. But first of all, I just wanted to say unequivocally, I think this is one of the worst moves that Blizzard and World of Warcraft, the World of Warcraft team at Blizzard, has ever done, period, full stop. They have lost the fucking plot. They do not know how to fix their game anymore. And this, by the way, is Blizzard giving up. No bones about it. No bullshit. Nothing. They're just throwing in the towel. They're like, you know what? We're done. We're done trying to figure this shit out. Here you go. We're not going to even try to make, real rotations anymore. We're not going to try to fix the issues with the game because there are many issues. We're just going to give you a win button. Just win. There you go. Just win. And we're going to take out every single aspect of actually playing the game by adding a single button that you can press, which will automatically click and use the next required spell in your rotation. What the fuck, man? I used to play this game. There's a reason I haven't played Retail WoW in a long time, by the way. Shit like this.
Welcome to a special edition of WoWcast, where we're going to talk about a patch 11.1.
By the way, this is one of the big problems. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say that World of Warcraft doesn't have real issues. And what is the issue that they're trying to solve? I've not seen this yet, so I don't know what they're going to say, by the way. But I've been waiting for you guys. And I wasn't really able to watch long videos when I was taking care of my dad anyways. But I will say one thing. World of Warcraft has an issue with ability bloat. They have an issue with overcomplications in so many ways. In so many ways in Retail WoW. It's actually crazy. The issues with bloat happens with the UI. The issues with bloat happens with abilities on the screen. The issues with bloat happens with the abilities, the number of abilities in your rotations, the amount of effects you have. The issues with bloat continues on with, exactly how many different things you got to keep track of in every single fight. Everything is directed towards pushing for like the top 0.001% of WoW players. And I hate that. and it's made the game worse in every single way. Now, I think Blizzard knows this, which is why they made this win button. They're like, all right, if you're not a 0.001% player, here you go. Here's an easy way to play the game. But what they're not realizing is this is a band-aid solution that completely negates the problem that they themselves have created and should focus on fixing. And I thought they were starting to do this because, we've been hearing for the past couple of months the various add-ons that they're, taking the functionality out of. You can no longer use blah, 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 blah add-on. And they're, adding it into their own UI to make it like a base UI and so on and so forth. And if something's too much, they just don't have it at all. I thought they were doing pretty good with that until now. And this shows me that they just gave fucking up. Maidenrat, he says, I agree. I used to be a Mythic Raider and plus, etc. There were so many issues because not everyone is a freaking pro player. It's literally their job. This change is insulting. Yeah. Well, no, here's what the problem is. Do you know who these people are? You know who these fuckers are? These guys are the problem. So this guy is he used to be a big old Raider guy. Huge Mythic Raider, huge this Raider, huge that Raider, blah, 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 blah. And then he became the head of WoW's balance, I think? Or is he just full-on game director? I don't remember which one. He's a big wig that deals with a lot of these major situations for the game design of World of Warcraft. Now, we'll find out probably in the next couple of seconds exactly who he is. But I recognize his face. He used to be a big Raider. Now, this guy is, I've fucking yelled. This guy is the worst, is the king of dog shit takes on World of Warcraft Twitter. He's the king. And what he is he's the head of the rating team for Team Liquid. And this guy is another big pro raider. It is these two guys' job to play World of Warcraft at the upper 0.001% tier. This is who World of Warcraft is catered to. And these two pieces of shit, maybe pieces of shit is too aggressive, but they're the reason that World of Warcraft is in the state it is in. Just straight up. They're the reason. These two. It's because everything in World of Warcraft with mythic raiding, with raids, with mythic dungeons and everything like that is catered to just these two players. And, making one show for Raid to World first that, loses steam after 1 week. And that's it. That's it. That's all they do. That is all, dude, so many resources are catered to making these guys happy. That's it.
Feature, and then a broader discussion about add-ons in World of Warcraft in general. I'm Dranos, World of Warcraft content creator.
Yep.
I'm Max. I'm the raid leader of Team Liquid.
If you go to his Twitter, it is the most dog shit elitist takes for all of World of Warcraft. This guy is like the literal example of the over serious, super sweaty, I'm not inviting you if you're not the 0.001%. Everything that's wrong with World of Warcraft is this guy. It's literally this guy. I have clashed with him over and over and over, being like, normal players don't think like this. Well, I don't care about normal players. Yes, Max, I know you don't. You're ruining my fucking game.
The WoW Guild and a content creator as well.
Fuck him.
And I'm Ion Hazzikostas, game director on WoW.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to be here
There
with
it
you
is.
guys.
Very excited to be here. So what are we doing in 11.1.7?
A whole bunch of fun stuff, but one of the features that we're extra excited about is a new UI option that we're adding called Rotation Assist, which is really designed to help players who are maybe picking up a new spec or want some guidance on what abilities they should be.
Don't figure it out anymore, guys. You don't need to figure it out. You don't need to use your brain in World of Warcraft anymore. You don't need to look at the numbers and be like, maybe I should use this. Maybe I should experientially figure it out. Now, one of the big problems for World of Warcraft, retail. This was not a problem in Classic because it took a long time to level in Classic. And Classic had a degree of difficulty to it. You can die in World of Warcraft Classic. Look at any hardcore stream. Hardcore goes crazy with that. But if you take World of Warcraft Classic, it took how many hours to get to level 60? and you're really learning everything about your class in that entire time, how to handle situations in dungeons, how to handle situations in group mobs, how to, figure out, man, I'm a warrior, I don't have healing, so I gotta be very careful about what I pull. I need to do line of sight pulls, blah, blah, blah. These are things you learn as you play the fucking game. And now in retail's leveling is so dog shit easy that I can play it with my eyes fucking closed. No matter what spec I'm playing, no matter what character I'm playing, no matter what class I'm playing. Everything has like, a fucking full self-heal almost. Like everything has like, heals and dots over time. Everything has like, major massive AoEs. So, dealing with AoE mobs is not a problem for pretty much any spec in the entire game. At least on like the overworld leveling side. And you don't learn anything. You don't learn anything until you get to mythic rating. Then you finally hit mythic rating or, heroic rating or whatever. And then suddenly you've hit a wall where you're like, all right, I got to figure out how my class actually fucking works now. And that's the thing. The game itself doesn't train you on how to figure out your fucking shit anymore. And as a result of this, and catering to the elitist WoW community, they've decided to just give you a win button as opposed to making the game design clearer or better or getting rid of the fucking bloat. These are the actual problems with World of Warcraft. And these are real problems. But this is a band-aid solution that does nothing but obfuscate those problems. Anyways, going back to it, let's let them yap.
Be using when without having to turn to third-party add-ons for it. So we've seen that, there's an add-on called Hekili that is very popular with a lot of players.
They should have taken out Hekili. They should have realized that the people who need Hekili need clarity on, why the hell is there a fear and a Terrify? Why the hell is there a polymorph and a hex? Why is there 50,000 dots to keep track of? Why is there 20 different effects that are like the main DPS modifiers for your character's class, for Ret Paladins or whatever. It's just too much to keep track of. They should have realized this is why people are using that add-on, so let's fix the root cause. But they decided to not even worry about the root cause. They decided to do nothing. Here you go. We're just going to put a Band-Aid on it so we don't have to worry about this problem anymore.
We're basically building in a very similar version of that into the base UI that you can opt into. That will, no matter what DPS spec you're playing.
By the way, this problem is not the worst problem. The worst problem is one that he's not even mentioned. It's going to come up in hopefully in a few minutes.
Highlight the recommended next ability given, your
I can
current
at least
energy,
see a
what's
world.
going on around you, and so forth. One extra thing that we're also going to do, which maybe goes a bit beyond what the add-ons
I can
do,
at least see a world where the highlighting the ability would be a little
where
useful.
there'll be like a keybind that if you just want almost an auto rotation, you can.
This is the problem. A one-button auto rotation. And you know what's funny? That, I've done Mythic rating. I used to play, fucking World of Warcraft like it was my job back in the day. Way before there was Mythic. I mean, I'm talking about, vanilla, OG vanilla. I'm talking about Burning Crusade. I'm talking about Wrath of the Lich King. And, I played bits and pieces, and I usually leveled one character to max level during almost every expansion. And, did the highest tier of content with one character, usually a warrior, because I'm a fucking idiot warrior. I want to smash meat and take a big hammer and hit something in the head with it. That is just my character class. Anyways, so usually I do that perennially once every fucking expansion. So I played and experienced every fucking expansion, almost. Not every one of them, but almost all of them. And one thing is that the single button assistant is absolutely an insult to anyone who's ever played this game ever. Period. If I was Max or the other guy, I'd be like, I would say this is an insult. But the interesting part is when I did Mythic rating and when I've done the highest tier content, you would always have people that don't know what they're doing at the lowest tier of content. And, all the way back when, you would tell people, oh, just use one ability. Just don't even worry about it. Just use Heroic Strike on cooldown for a warrior all the way back in vanilla. And he's not going to do the best DPS, but he's going to do some DPS, right? This was essentially like that version of the single button assistant without being a single button assistant. But in current World of Warcraft, you cannot tell me that at some point raid leaders and dungeon leaders are going to not going to yell at their teammates to use the single button assistant when it's clear the person playing the character doesn't really know what they're doing. It's just going to be another tool for elitism as well. Some guy is going to be like, the uber salty mythic, raider or whatever, doing like a normal dungeon and be like, rogue, you suck. You don't know what you're doing. Just press a single button assistant. Just press it over and over again. That's it. I don't even care that you're going to have a 20% DPS loss. It'll be better than what you got. And he'll unironically be right as well, which is sad. But yeah, that's how they're going to use it. This is going to be used as an elitist tool as well.
Opt into that, and it will just automatically cast the
Exactly,
next recommended ability in the sequence. There'll be a small GCD penalty associated with that, but we want to make sure that this is for accessibility purposes.
A 20% GCD penalty is like nothing.
That it's there for
It's
people
something,
who
but it's not much.
just honestly aren't interested in the gameplay of like mastering
Terex,
their
great
spec.
question.
They want to explore Azeroth and experience the story, and the mechanics kind of get in the way of that sometimes.
The problem with this is that we already have this in MMOs. Who here has played a Korean MMO? Who here has played a gacha MMO? Go to your phone and look up gacha MMO, or look up MMO. A lot of the mobile ones are gacha ones anyways. And what you'll find is all of these, like Lost Ark. Well, I don't know if Lost Ark had this, but, I didn't play that much Lost Ark. But, you can find very clear examples of this. And what they do have is the autoplay button. A button which will literally take you from place to place, and you don't have to press anything. It's basically what amounts to an idle game. That's what the BDO. Yeah, BDO has it. Yeah, that's a great example. Exactly, Terex. And the problem is when your game has a fucking autoplay button, what the fuck is the point of playing the game? What is the point? And if you're playing an idle game, like on Steam, there's some idle games that are like, idle city management games or whatever like that. You're not really playing that game either. You're just seeing your little pixels move on screen or whatever. I mean, that is what it is. But when it comes to an MMO, which is inherently a very experiential type of game, there's even less point of playing the game. There's no point playing the game. The entire point is you're supposed to play the encounters. You're supposed to learn your class. You're supposed to interact with other people. And World of Warcraft Retail has done motion after motion and example and action after action to lower the amount of interaction a player has with the game at every fucking turn. And they're wondering why people don't stick with Retail WoW, and why Classic WoW, every time they open a new server, is exploding with a new population every fucking time. And they wonder why. They have the gall to wonder why. Suck my dick, World of Warcraft. You screwed up your own fucking game. Sorry, go on.
This should be for them. Ideally, this is not a tool where someone is like being told by their raid leader.
Sure, this could be an accessibility option where, someone who is injured in their hand or something could use this to play the game. That's great. That's true. But the percentage of that is 0.0001%. And the amount of the game that it is proven that they're just not even bothering, trying to fix, they're basically using that 0.0001% as an excuse not to fix their fucking game. That's what they're doing. That is what they're doing.
Leader to stop trying to DPS manually.
Hasn't it been going downhill for a while now? Things have been going mostly downhill in a lot of ways, but I would say that they had some W's as well. Like, if you look at right now, you log into Retail World of Warcraft, the best designed system in World of Warcraft right now, in Retail WoW right now, was a system that sucked in Shadowlands. And in Dragon, what was it called? Dragonflight, sorry. Dragonflight, it was a huge change. You go to Dragonflight, and they changed the leveling system from a dog shit system in Shadowlands where you had very little customization to a leveling system where you have a giant skill tree, and 2 skill trees actually, one for your class, one for your spec. And those giant skill trees are incredibly malleable. They have a bunch of effects in them. Every skill point feels like it matters, and you're slowly creating a cool build. And you can tailor make the build. You can, use other people's builds. They had a lot of functionality in it as well. You could copy the BIS build as well if you wanted, or follow your own, or whatever. And it was really cool. That leveling system, T-Rex, that new what's it called, talent tree system and everything like that, that is a huge W. That might be one of the biggest W's and got me back into playing Retail World of Warcraft that I hadn't done regularly for quite a bit. Shadowlands sucked. BFA sucked dick. Both of those sucked dick so much. I didn't even want to play Dragonflight. And then I took a shot at it for, I was like, all right, fine, I'll play one character, see how it is. And I was like, wow, this leveling actually feels pretty good. I feel like I'm actually creating a fucking skill tree here. And so, yeah, there you go. Top tier skill tree. That is a huge, huge W. An absolute, the person who designed that skill tree should make everything in World of Warcraft. And if that person did, or that team did, everything in World of Warcraft would be better. Or at least that kind of quality and that kind of like mindset. To like give players player choice. To give players the ability to like make something cool. To change different effects. To have malleability, adaptability, so on and so forth. These things matter in an RPG, and especially in an MMO. Every MMO is enriched by player choice, and every MMO is worsened by a lack of player choice. And this is one of those situations where it's getting worse.
And just turn on the one button mode to meet some DPS check. That we want to give you the tools to kind of go through that organic progression.
This will still happen. If you're in any raid, and you have any person under a certain level of DPS, their raid leader is going to yell at them and tell them to do the one button rotation. And it'll be a DPS hit, but it'll probably be better than someone doesn't know how to play their character, which a lot of people in World of Warcraft don't, which is totally fair. But like, at least they're playing their character. At least they're like learning something, or, something like that. But in this, you just lose out on that completely. It's gone. It's gone.
Naturally.
Great. But the rotation assist doesn't come with a penalty or anything like that. That's just we're going to show you what your next button is.
Exactly.
Right.
It's very similar to the Hakili add-on. It's kind of reflecting, just the latest kind of established theory craft.
And this is another example of like, we don't trust our players to use their brain, so we're just not going to bother.
And it's something that we would continue to update, with spec changes and class changes over time. Ideally, it all's born out of the idea that we've seen a valuable tool that players feel like they should be looking outside the game to download, and we'd rather just reduce the barriers to that and make it available to everyone.
Okay, yeah, because there's two parts of it, right? Like the advanced is, I want to really go into this, is the one button thing, but that's not necessarily everyone that's going to use this. Like, I think this game, especially new players getting into it, there's a lot going on within a particular class, and you can.
Yes, there's a lot going on with the entire game in general, and you fuckers are the reason why. You remember when I was like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't call them pieces of shit? Nah, fuck them, they're pieces of shit. They're so close, and I feel like they know. These guys are not idiots. They live and breathe this game. I think they just don't care. All they care about is making their content, making their, their big old, videos for like raid nights and whatever, their big old guides. They're running this as a job. And because they made the game so elitist heavy, they basically created an entire audience for their content. And that's all they care about. They don't care about the random person who plays this game.
Can be a little lost trying to figure out exactly what I should be pressing. So even just using it as like a guide.
You take out the bloat, motherfucker. Holy fuck. He's not wrong that there's a lot of bloat. But you fix the bloat. You don't give a one-button solution. This is stupid.
To start learning your class.
This is
and
so
move
frustrating
off of
to
it
watch.
Eventually, but just having a base understanding of what actually should I be doing.
Are you guys
at
as
base
frustrated
level
as I am?
of this?
I don't know.
That's really exactly the motivation on our end. I mean, especially with warbands
I'm
and
so
War Within,
frustrated.
we see lots and lots more alts.
I hate
and
this. I
leveling
hate
is pretty
everything
quick.
about this.
You got a bunch of warbound until equipped gear that you're passing over to a new character, and just jumping into their full rotation. You've never played the spec seriously before can be a pretty serious undertaking. And for some people, this may be enough for them, and that's fine too. But we recognize that there's so much. WoW has such a high skill ceiling that just recommending what the next ability isn't going.
Maybe the skill ceiling shouldn't be so high. Maybe people shouldn't play the fucking game as a job. Maybe the game is just too fucking complicated and you fix that. Am I taking crazy pills? Am I the only one realizing this? I don't know. Because when I look on Twitter, all I see are people talking about accessibility. Oh man, this is gonna help one person, blah, blah. And yeah, this will help accessibility, sure. But this is not about accessibility. This is about simplifying the game as a band-aid solution and not fixing the actual problems with the game.
To really
That's
remove
why I
that
hate
or fully
this.
solve that. There's still the muscle memory that you need to form, and then all of the nuances of like, we might have a recommendation for a rotation that makes sense.
There's no reason an Arcane Mage's rotation should have like 25 buttons. There's no fucking reason. That wasn't a thing in vanilla. Vanilla was dog shit easy. That wasn't a thing in Burning Crusade. That wasn't even a thing in Wrath. Wrath is where it started to get a little bit more complicated, but it wasn't that bad. The game doesn't need to be this. And that is why people... World of Warcraft won't League as well. But World of Warcraft has a massive fall off for players. At some point, they realize it's not worth it. At some point, they realize the game is just too complicated. At some point, there's just too much visual noise, too much complication with items and obfuscation and this and that and whatever. And they just stop playing the game. And I get it. I get that's why. But this is how to solve it. You have to actually focus on making the game. I wonder what they think. Raid frames need a major overhaul. Take server names out of the nameplates. Is auto battle the next step? Great question. I mean, this is auto battle. This is literally auto battle. Yeah, exactly, Maiden Wrath. Dude, this MMO never should have been a game where you have to devote, a 90-hour work week in order to play the fucking game. And that's what these people do. These two fuckers, they play this game as a 90-hour work week. That is exactly why this game is dog shit. Exactly.
To many of these problems.
Like the base construct of it, there is this will help you learn what you're supposed to do if you are new. And then there is hey, I don't want to be the best player at this game. That's totally fine. I play it for a different reason. I want to collect things. I want to understand the story. I want to quest. I want to level, right?
Here's a thought process, a thought exercise. If a significant number of the community is into the storyline of a game, is into the collection of the game, is into the mounts, is into the pets, is into the outfits, the transmogs, is the solution to this making this very large aspect of the player base happy? Is the solution to this insulting their intelligence to say, hey, you're a dumb piece of shit? This is World of Warcraft saying, you're a fucking loser. You have no semblance of brain power at all. All you live to do is to give us money for transmogs. You can't even figure out how to play our game. Here's a one-button solution to play the game. Is the solution that, or is the solution to step back and be like, we have, let's say 30% of our player base that likes more casual gameplay. And we have 0.001% of our player base that are the uber big dick egoist mythic plus raider mythic plus dungeon blah blah blah. They're raiding 20 billion keys or whatever the fuck it's called anymore, and they use 50 different add-ons to suck their own dick while playing a DK anyways. And is it better to cater to the game for that 30%, that very large portion, or is it better to contribute and to use, what is it, like fucking 40% of your resources on 0.001% of your player base? Which one? Which one makes sense? It's a simple question. I think it's a very simple answer. And it's not catering to the fucking idiot elitists. That's not the solution. This is what got World of Warcraft into its problems in the first place. This is a problem with the thought process of the World of Warcraft devs. It is. They're made of players like this, and like this. These three players are the problem. Absolutely the fucking problem. Felt like a thankless job? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pushing the boulder up the hill? Exactly, made around. The game is too much. It's too complicated. There's too much shit in it. None of the shit makes it feel worth it, by the way. Half the shit launches and is broken now. There's so many problems with that. Maybe we'll watch a Bellular video about that. He covers all of those issues often. I watch Bellular videos on World of Warcraft still. I don't actually play the game much anymore. I play Classic every so often. But how bad is there numbers for the player base? We'll watch a video on that at some point, T-Rex. Maybe I'll look it up and make one myself. But basically what I can tell you is Dragonflight did not have very high launch numbers. Like, a lot of people did not rejoin the game to play Dragonflight. However, when they played Dragonflight, because the gameplay was good, the overworld was good, the dungeons were pretty cool, the storyline was but like, it's whatever. And because of those reasons, it had long legs, T-Rex. So there wasn't a really large drop-off in any semblance of the game in terms of, players playing every single day, people crafting high-level gear, people playing mythic raiding, people doing heroic raiding, which is, much higher a portion of the player base, and so on and so forth. The drop-off was a lot smaller than Shadowlands and BFA. So it was a huge W. It didn't have like the biggest launch numbers ever, but it had long legs. This new one, The War Within, had the opposite problem. It had very high launch numbers. Everyone brought the fucking Brutosaurus or Brontosaurus thingy that costed like $150 or whatever the fuck. They played the first 2 weeks, got the drops, and then the numbers have horrifically dwindled at the tail end. People are not playing the game at the end or the middle and end of the expansion nearly as much as a percentage-wise than happened in Dragonflight. So T-Rex. So the numbers are worse, but in a very different way, if that makes sense. And I'll find sources for these. I'll make an entire video about the numbers. If you like that idea, if you want to hear more about that, make sure to give this video a like, a sub, share it with your friends, leave a comment saying that you want to see it, and I'll make another video about that exact thing in a little bit. I will. If you guys want it, I'll make it. So yeah, absolutely. Is it going to be a video? Oh, this is 100% going to be a video. As soon as I saw the news, one button rotation, Maidenwrath, I was already pissed that, my dad is in ill health. I was on fire. Oh my God. I didn't watch this video, so I didn't know how pissed I'm going to get. But bro, Maidenwrath, watching these three pieces of shit ruin my game. They've ruined my game. Our game, but this is a game I used to love. They fucked it up. He's fucked it up. He's fucked it up. He's fucked it up. These people have fucked up my fucking game. Year after year after year after year. The solution is not that hard. Maybe it's hard, but it's not complicated. It's not complicated. I miss the story of Warcraft. Me too, buddy. Yeah, I miss the story of Warcraft when... Dude, Dragonflight's story was so bad, man. Dragonflight's story was just all wow, by the power of friendship, oh man. I was just oh God. What the fuck is this shit, man? I remember when Warcraft was about big, hairy, sweaty men beating the shit out of other big, hairy, sweaty men. Some of them green, some of them normal. Man, I remember characters like Varian Rin. I remember characters like Onyxia. Man, what the fuck? Sithun. Holy shit. Whoa, what the fuck? That was so cool. I remember those. Some green, some normal. Yeah, exactly. Some green, some not so green.
and I don't want to feel like I can go into any content and I just don't really know what I'm doing. I feel anxious about that. Like you have the ability to just be like, okay, well at least Blizzard's got me. You know, I can have something.
Blizzard don't got me, guys. They don't got any of us. I want you to know, they've given up. Like this is Blizzard giving up. This is them giving up. Like this is that. This is that. This is the death knell, in my opinion. Am I, being, speaking in hyperbole? No, I really don't think so. I think they've fucking given up. Every single thought I had that they might, take care of ability bloat, effects bloat, of like too much shit going on the screen at the same time, gone. I don't have any. Dude, this is. I pulled this this picture out. I was gonna show it later. I'll show it now. Fuck them. This is a WoW Raiders UI. What the fuck is this shit? What is this shit? What the fuck is this shit? And this girl is so close. She's a big WoW Raider. She's big into WoW Twitter, blah, blah. But she's so close. She's so close to understanding the point, and she doesn't get the point. She's like, don't demonize accessibility features. No one is demonizing this as an accessibility feature. We're not looking at a poor guy with a hand injury and saying, nah, fuck you, you don't get your one button. We're looking at the problem of everything in this game is like this. If you look at the ability, you go to your fucking skill page on your skill book in World of Warcraft, and you just start typing shit in, you start typing impale, you start typing bleed, you start typing this, you're gonna find like paragraph after paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, all kinds of shit just for your own class. That's not even counting their classes. Everything in this game is just overcomplicated. That's the point. Dude, I know people that are one-handed players. They have no fucking problem playing WoW Classic. You could play WoW Classic on a controller. No problem. And more power to them. The problem is not accessibility feature. The problem is the entire game is dog shit overcomplicated, man. Everything is visual noise. There's too much shit going on everywhere. I feel like I have to be a fucking Zoomer who has addicted to fucking gacha games and Fortnite and fucking Subway servers at the same time just to watch a stream of Retail World of Warcraft. Not even to fucking play one, but just to watch one. Let's go to Twitch. Let's look at right now. Who is Mythic rating right now? Let's go to it. Let's see what happens. World. Jesus fucking Christ, Twitch. Christ almighty. It was loud as hell. Sorry. Okay. Pink Parser. Okay, doesn't look like they're doing a dungeon. This guy looks like they're doing a dungeon. Let's see this person. Let's see this. You're a one-handed player yourself? That's because I'm whacking off, Ryan.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. All right. So this is mostly base UI. All right. This is some stuff. This is mostly base UI. And even base UI is overcomplicated as fuck. Why are there so many fucking abilities? Dude, this is a fucking paladin. Paladins are dog shit easy anyways, man. Why? Yeah, your UI looks like I did. Yeah, exactly. It's not even a dirty UI. Like, it's like a pretty relatively clean UI. However, it still shows how overcomplicated fucking everything is. You see that? Like, look how many abilities there are. I mean, dude, I played Paladin. I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it like it doesn't need to be this complicated. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't need to be this there doesn't need to be this much shit on the screen. There doesn't need to be this many abilities. By the way, damage meters, we don't need damage meters. There's a reason that any other MMO worth its salt goes to every single add-on and says, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're all banned. Every fucking add-on for FF14 is banned. I think it's every add-on now, right? Maybe I'm wrong about that. But like other MMOs, All add-ons banned, gone, fucking no, none, zero. Zippity doo-dah, none. Fairly clean example, 35 ability icons. I know. That's my point. Yes, fairly clean example of UI in WoW, and it has 35 ability icons. Exactly my point. Exactly my point, King Leaf. It's too much shit. There's too much going on in this fucking game, and that's why no one watches this game. That's why no one fucking plays this game compared to the numbers that used to. And by the way, half these streamers are playing Classic. Literally half these streamers are playing Classic, which is, I mean, I love Classic. That thing now, even without the add-ons, there's still so much going on. Exactly my point, Zaylan. Exactly my point. Resto Shaman. Let's see Resto Shaman. There's so much shit going on. And this, again, is an example of a relatively clean UI. Absolutely. And, dude, look at all of these. Holy fuck. Do you need to see the abilities and buffs next to 5 different characters? Like, this is a lot of shit. She has 3 different bars for meters in a dungeon. This is a 5-person dungeon. Why? Why? Why do you need this? You don't need any of this shit, man. Look at her buffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's just say an average of 25 buffs for a 5-person dungeon. And yeah, maybe it's a mythic. But my point is, mythic is too fucking complicated. Why the fuck do you need all these for a mythic dungeon? Why do you need this for anything? You don't need this shit for anything. The game shouldn't be this fucking complicated, man. And dude, like, let's see if anyone's playing Arena. Is this Arena? I don't know. It kind of looked like a circle. No, it's ain't Arena. This is another raid. Yeah, I got an entire, like, jigsaw of things here. You got all these abilities. By the way, this is a mage, and these are all the abilities they need to use on their rotation. I think this is that add-on that highlights your abilities that they were talking about, Kelsey or whatever the fuck, Kelpie or Kelso or I don't even know what it's called. But yeah, I think this is that add-on because it's highlighting what you need to do. So let's look at you need to use all of these abilities as a mage for your rotation. What the fuck? What the absolute fucking fuck? Why? Why is a single ability rotation for a class, for DPS, that fucking complicated? It doesn't need to be that fucking complicated. It doesn't need to be that fucking complicated, not even close. Can we find a classic player? Actually, it wouldn't even make a difference because classic players would probably have the same fucking problem at this point with at least like UI bloat. People have so many add-ons in classic now. Oh my god. He's playing Season of Discovery. Classic Season Discovery, and he's using UI add-ons to basically make a fucking, like, follow a fucking guide to find everything in the game. Dude, all of these add-ons just need to be banned. Like, just get them fucking gone. There's no discovery in this game anymore. None. Holy shit, man. All right, let's go back to the video. So sorry. I got distracted by ranting. But I think you guys see my point about the overcomplication of this now dog shit game. Power creep happens to all games. Every game can have power creep, forever have power creep, if they continue to let the game have power creep. You can do things like stat squishes, ability squishes, taking out abilities out of the game, so on and so forth. And you could get rid of 10% of the buttons from every class and every rotation and no one would complain. No one with a brain except these three pieces of shit and everyone liked them. None of them would, no one besides these people would complain. No one worth a single jot of iota of oxygen in the fucking room would complain. 10%. 10% of buttons. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying half of them. I'm saying 10%. 10% could be easily considered by any player, any normal player, bloat. Oh man, I don't need these extra 3 buttons in my rotation. It just complicates shit for no reason. I'm just waiting for a fucking proc of Sundance Festival proc, or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know. Every fucking class is a different set of procs. Every class is like 7 different procs, and you need to line up those procs in order to get the fucking thing to hit with the big number that makes you feel like a single millisecond iota of dopamine. It's so stupid, man. It's so stupid.
At a base level where I can press one button and just kind of hang out and play the game. I have one question about the actual rotational thing. So is that going to like change with talents? So like, let's say, is it going to work off the base talent build, or let's say you select a talent that now moves a AoE button into your single target range?
It's obviously going to be tailor-made. If it wasn't tailor-made, no one would fucking use it, dude.
As with, this is going to be something in the version that we roll out.
He not
with,
only has the worst takes
useful
ever, Max, he also asks the stupidest fucking questions ever.
Form to everyone, and we'll just get refined from there. Similar to the cooldown manager, customization, much more functionality to that over time.
Skipping over the stupid questions.
Yeah, I think it's a really exciting feature individually. The thing that's most exciting to me is in the broader context of the cooldown manager, of all these other edit mode changes that have come out. There was a time 5 years ago in WoW where if you were just getting into the game, there was an intimidating list of these are the add-ons that you need.
Yes. He's close. He can almost understand the point. But his fucking elitism won't let him understand the actual point. The game is too complicated. You shouldn't need 50 add-ons. I agree. You shouldn't need 50 fucking, additions to any of the complications of any part of this game. You don't need any of it, bro.
And if you're not using these, you're kind of worse, right? Like you're noticeably worse. If you can't track your group members' major cooldown.
Yeah, combined bags and stuff. Yeah, I'm not talking about those. I agree with you, Sam. Yeah, exactly. But like, dude, combining bags is something that should have been in base Blizzard UI since the beginning. And the only reason they didn't put combined bag UI into the base part of the UI, do you know why Zaylant lost? Do you know why they never did it? It's because they had an add-on for it. So they never felt the need to. They were like, you know what? The add-on can do the work for us. We don't have to spend resources to do the work ourselves. It's because Blizzard is fucking lazy. That's why. Blizzard is fucking lazy.
Right? Like, you're worse at Mythic Plus than somebody who is, right? And it seems like the goal that has been accomplished with a lot of these things that have been coming into the base UI is you can use those add-ons if you want, but we...
By the way, these two are happy for this entire situation because A, they get to yell at their, teammates that aren't doing enough DPS to use the one-button manager. And these two are the literal type that would do so. And then the other reason that they're happy is because they know that Blizzard will be spending less resources on trying to do things like, create better rotations, take out bloat, blah, blah, blah. Like these very complicated problems that need a nuanced and real solution. And instead, they get to have more mythic raids. They're happy because this is more focused on their 0.001% of the player base. Fuckers.
Now have a native way to the game that you don't have to get an add-on.
That is pretty much exactly our long-term philosophical years, to allow people to experience different aesthetics, different functionality, have information available at their fingertips.
Yeah, that's a great comment, Jalen. Why bot when Blizzard will do it for you? Absolutely. Dude, bot makers are having a field day. Man, dude, the bot makers in Retail WoW, they're raising their hands up. Hallelujah, hallelujah. They're like jumping up for joy. They're wanking off at this video. They're like, oh my God, this is the best news I've ever heard. Dude, they're like, we don't have to make our bots. Like we can use 80% less resources to make our fucking bot now. Holy shit, man.
That
They're
is a
so
huge part
happy.
of WoW's success, and we don't question or want to undermine that for
They're
a moment.
so fucking happy.
At the same time, like as you said, ideally it is about what do you want? How
Hmm.
do you prefer to have things presented to you, and not what.
The real question is, what does Blizzard want? What does the player base want? And I think what Blizzard wants is people just to brush this entire problem under the rug and stop bugging them about it. Stop bugging them to actually make their fucking game right.
Do you have to do?
That's what they want.
What is a group mate or raid leader or whatever telling you you must download, or answer to get into that mandatory place whether we like it or not?
Are they
I
going
think,
to talk about any of this other stuff?
Longer term, these initiatives kind of fit into part of how we're thinking about the role of add-ons in WoW.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so I don't want to watch this entire video. It's gonna be long, drawn out, and fucking Max and the other guy are just gonna piss me off. So I'm not gonna fucking bother watching the rest of this dog shit video. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about what I thought the video represents. Actually, let's see Zaryo's take. I like Zaryo. He's a relatively level head.
Somehow like making a bit of sense. It still feels like some type of violation. Like, am I crazy here?
I agree. Man. Do you know why Zarya thinks this? Because he's not a 0.001% elitist. That's why. He wants the game to not fucking die. He doesn't want it to become an auto battler.
Like, I feel like it's like some type of violation to have a button that's gonna cast the next best thing for you.
Yeah.
I still feel like it's just something about it feels like violating what it means to play
right.
an MMO of like, it literally already exists. No, it doesn't. So Hakili,
Hakili was the name of the mod. Sorry. I called it like 80 different other names.
As far as I know, doesn't press the next optimal button for you. It just highlights what you should press. But
which already is bad enough. That shows rotations are so complicated, and procs and lists of procs and stuff are so complicated. You need the fucking add-on to tell you when to press Fireball, when to press Pyroclasm, or whatever the fuck.
You still have to
Holy
press it.
shit.
They're adding in a singular
It's another example of why the game is overcomplicated.
button that will do the next best ability in your rotation, of course, at the GCD penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
So you'll never like top parse with it. Right? Never, right? Because it's 20% slower basically. But the single button thing is novel.
Yeah.
Despite that thought process.
Yep, that's pretty decent thoughts by Zaryu. I agree with what he was saying there. Absolutely. Oh my god. But anyways, I think, dude, this is like literally, yeah, the gaming company is garbage. Taking the game out of the gaming. One step away from turning into an idle game. Dude, yeah, after this change, it's going to be an idle game. Exactly. I hate it, man. The ideal spell for modern WoW is uninstalling. Based. And there's very few changes in World of Warcraft where I'm like, you know what? This game doesn't deserve to exist anymore. I'm not really like hyperbole like that. No, I'll get pissed. I'll talk about Blizzard being dog shit and stuff, but I'm not going to say anything like that, right? Really have not. I'll say like, their finance team deserves nothing but ire for the rest of their lives, but like I'm not going to say like, the game itself deserves to die. But this one, at this point, what the fuck is the point of the game? If you're going to have a one button that controls everything, and they're basically refusing to do anything to actually fix the bloat and balance of their game, at that point, what the fuck is the point of World of Warcraft retail at any point whatsoever from this moment forward? I just genuinely feel like there is nothing. There's no point to the game anymore. I'm seeing if there's anything else that I missed in this little thing. Or if this article was going to be a decent article and talk about what people think about it. That's it. So yeah, they didn't really talk about like the outcry. Nothing. It's absolutely insane. IGN is so fucking dog shit. IGN is so fucking dog shit. And this is why gaming journalism is dead. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. What do you guys think of this change? What do you guys think about the one button rotation? What do you guys think about the highlighting feature that they're adding in? Do you guys think that I'm being overly critical of Blizzard with what I'm saying about what this means for World of Warcraft? Do you think I'm on the money? Do you think World of Warcraft's in good hands? Do you think it's over bloated and needs like these problems are real? I'm not saying these problems don't exist. I'm saying these problems very much exist, but they need a real solution. And all this does is obfuscate all solutions by saying, hey, we're going to sweep it under the rug and give you one button so you don't even think about the problem anymore. That's what it is. They've created their own problem and they're giving you their own ibuprofen to solve it, as opposed to actually fixing the fucking problem. And this is something that happens with a lot of things. This happens in medicine all the time. Creating medicine for a problem that didn't used to exist and now exists now. Like, this is something, this is something that happens all the fucking time. Like, that's, in some ways, that's how I see Ozempic. Ozempic is a solution for many people suffering from like extremely high-end diabetes. However, not having diets go to shit was like a very big problem that has been compounding on itself over and over again for year after year after year after year. And now you just have like a drug as a solution. You don't need the drug as a solution. You need to solve the fucking problem. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And again, I have a dad with diabetes, so I know Ozempic very well. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Give this video a like and a sub. Share it with your friends. And if you guys do want that video about the numbers of players for World of Warcraft and how the War Within has been a bit of a disappointment in some ways, and I think these are some of the reasons why, let me know if you want to see that in the comments below as well. Because if so, if you guys do want it, I will make it. Take care. See you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for enjoying this video. I love you tons. There you go. Chat, what did you guys think about that rant? Still think they need to nuke the game? Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, what do you mean? Do you mean like, yeah, I talked about that before, Zaylan. I made a video about like how they should just make WoW 2. Just make another World of Warcraft and just nuke everything in the game. Yeah, I think I was in this video. I was like, basically responding to Asmongold talking about the situation. Very passionate as always. Yeah. Here's the previous video that I made. It was like a very meta level discussion for World of Warcraft as well. And he got in hot water for saying that. And I was very much in that boat. However, I disagree with myself now. I think the problem is systematic. The people making World of Warcraft now would still be making the World of Warcraft 2, even if they nuked the entire game and just started new. They would start and they would still have the same design flaws. So there's no point in nuking the game. They're just still going to make the same dog shit broken ass game with the same problems from beginning. That's the problem. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit of a doomer take on my end, but yeah, I'm not bright on WoW's future on this end, buddy.